Hi, welcome back. In this video, I am going to discuss The Wasteland, all parts one by one. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland opens with a part called The Burial of Dead, and it immediately sets a tone of confusion, brokenness, and spiritual emptiness. The title itself is borrowed from the Anglican Book of Common Prayer, which refers to funeral rites. This tells us the poem is dealing with the themes of death, loss, perhaps rebirth. The very first line is unexpected and ironic. He says April is the cruelest month. Traditionally, April is seen as a time of renewal and growth. It is spring season. When flowers bloom, the sun returns, life begins again. But for Eliot, this returns of life is painful. Why? Because new life forces people to remember what they have lost. The past is no longer hidden in winter's forgetfulness. Spring brings memories and emotional discomfort, especially for those who are spiritually numb or wounded by war and modern life. Then Eliot introduces images of winter, but here winter is strangely comforting. It keeps us warm, he writes. Winter normally associated with a death, cold, and becomes a kind of emotional shield. A time when we don't have to feel or think too deeply. This tells us a lot about the state of modern person in Eliot's world. People are more comfortable being numb than facing painful memories or change. Soon after, we meet a character named Mary. She is based on Mary Louise of Austria, and the section refers to her memory of sledging in mountains as a child. This short story seems innocent, but it is a nostalgic memory and it does not connect to the world we are now in. Her story represents a lost world of order, joy, aristocratic culture, now replaced by a chaos, modern confusion. Eliot uses this to show how the past is remembered but can't be restored. The poem then shifts to fragments, bits and pieces of images, voices, and refers that come and go quickly. Eliot does not tell straight story. Instead, he gives us a collage, like looking at a broken mirror with many reflections. This is a key part of modernist poetry, which tries to show how fragmented and disoriented modern life feels. We then enters a kind of wasteland, a place that was once full of life but now feels dead. Eliot writes about a heap of broken images, suggesting a world full of leftover pieces of meanings. There are no clear beliefs, no shared traditions, just scattered cultural ruins. This reflects how people after World War One felt like old truths had failed and no new ones had taken their place. Suddenly we hear a voice that asks, what are the roots that clutch? What branches grow out of this stony rubbish? This sounds like a search for spiritual meaning or growth, but the world is too dry and lifeless for anything to grow. The landscape is barren, like a desert. A symbol of soul is in a state of despair. Eliot seems to be saying, how can anything meaningful grow in world of so broken? Then Eliot brings in a strange vision, I will show you fear in a handful of dust. This haunting line echoes the language of Christian funeral rites. Dust to dust, but here it is not peaceful or holy, it is terrifying. Dust become a symbol of death without hope of fear, without comfort. Eliot is showing how modern man fears death, yet also feels spiritually dead while still alive. One of the most memorable figures in the section is Madame Sosostris, a fortune teller who uses tarot cards to read the future. She is partly a joke. Eliot calls her the wisest woman in Europe, even though she seems fake and commercialized, but she also serious. Her tarot reading includes several symbolic images. A drowned Phoenician sailor represents death by water, which we will see again in the later poem. The Belladonna, Lady of Rocks, mixes beauty and danger. The one-eyed merchant may suggest trade, greed, or soullessness business. The wheel symbolizes a fate or cycle of life and death. However, she can't find the Hanged Man, a tarot card often linked to sacrifice and spiritual renewal. Its absence suggests that redemption is missing in this world. Eliot is hinting that there is no savior, no rebirth yet, only confusion. Madame Sosostris finishes her reading by warning the person not to look too close at the thunder, which later in the poem will represent spiritual power or divine voice. For now, it is a dangerous or overwhelming. Next, Eliot takes us into a city, perhaps London. Though it feels almost ghostly, he writes about crowd flowing over London Bridge, a dull line of people walking like zombies. These people seem spiritually dead even though they are alive. It's a chilling image of modern urban life where individual feels isolated, hopeless, and automated. One man in the crowd is spoken to, said, "Son, were with me. You know who were with me in the ships at Myle?" This is the reference to the ancient Punic Wars. But now the speaker and Setson, a very modern sounding name, are both out of place. Eliot mixes ancient history with a modern life, showing how the past and present don't really connect anyone. The speaker even asks Setson about a corpse he buried in the garden, a strange metaphor that may suggest something he hoped would grow or return to life, but now remains buried, hidden, or rotten. Throughout this section, Eliot uses many languages, literary references, and cultural symbols. He quotes from Chaucer, German literature, and the Bible, Shakespeare, and modern, and more. But these references don't form a clear story. Instead, they add to the sense of culture overload and collapse. The modern world is full of knowledge, but one reason Eliot does this is to show how people can no longer find meaning in stories that once gave life purpose, religion, myth, poetry, and tradition have lost their power. What left is a pile of broken pieces. Eliot does not tell us what to believe, he just shows us what it feels like to live in a world without solid ground. Another important idea in this section is loss of spiritual connection. There is no mention of personal faith or deep belief, only fear, confusion, and uncertainty. People in the poem don't seem to know who they are, where they are going, or what life means. They are caught between a past that no longer helps and future that feels threatening or empty. By the end of the burial of dead, Eliot has not given us answers, but he is painted a powerful picture of modern spiritual crisis. He's shown us the world full of people walking through life without purpose, relying on a cheap fortune tellers instead of sacred truths, and surrounded by ruins of once great culture. This is not just a post-World War Europe. It is about what it means to live in a time when the old ways don't work anymore and the new ways have not been found. It is all about the people who are emotionally and spiritually dry, like the wasteland they live in. And yet, the title Burial of Dead might also suggest something deeper. In the traditional religion, burying dead is the first step towards the new life. Death is in some faiths leads to the resurrection. So even though Eliot shows us a world in ruins, he may be preparing the ground for some kind of spiritual rebirth. Eliot's language is complex and the structure is fragmented, but underneath the difficulty is clear emotional truth. People are hurting and they don't know how to heal. The first section invites us to the broken world and challenges us to ask what's now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Once again, thank you for watching.